I am Iman, 35 years old, married, and my mother-in-law, Fatin, 55 years old, is a widow, but in the glory of her beauty. It was a month ago when I was invited to my friend's wedding, and my husband was traveling, and I asked him to go and told him the address of the hall, and he came to know her and said, "This is only a broken place, and it is far away, and you cannot go alone, I fear for you." Quote, I told him there will be many people, and this is joy, and don't worry. He said no, but if you want to go, take mama with you. I told him okay. At that time, my mother-in-law and I were perfecting our adornments, and anyone who saw us would not take his eyes off us, even though the abayas were not tight. It was a beautiful wedding, but it was all dancing, but my mother-in-law and I didn't move so we couldn't dance. I asked my friend where is the bathroom, and she said that it is next to the entrance. My mother-in-law asked for permission to go, and when I arrived, I found a big man with muscular muscles. He said, "I'm sorry, sir. The water pipe in it was broken. Could you go to the bathroom behind the hall and show me his place?" They pulled me and dragged me, and I don't know where they're going, and I don't know how to vote because I'm speechless, and I'm trying to resist, but I can't. I told them, it is forbidden for you. I am a married woman and my mother-in-law is with me. If I am late, she will come looking for me and hold on. They all laughed loudly. There were 6 of them, and they took out my mobile phone and told me to ask for your mother-in-law and tell her to come behind the hall, and if you say a word extra, we will kill you. I asked for it against my will and said, "Mama, I used to tell my mother-in-law, Mama, come to the bathroom behind the hall, please." 2 of them stayed with me, and one told the rest of them to wait behind the store door so we could catch it. They ran and hid themselves, and I heard Mama shouting at me because the place was dark and they were gagged so hard that I could not make a sound, and I heard them entering with her, carrying her as they brought me, and she was making noises and muffled her horn. The first time she saw me, she hugged me and told me that you are good. And I did not hurt you. My mother-in-law told them to take all our needs and leave us with money and mobiles. They laughed and said, "We just want to honor you," and laughed out loud. My mother-in-law said, "Do what you want with me, but let them not touch my son's wife, it is forbidden for you." They looked at each other and said, "Okay, just do what we will say." She said, "I agree." Me and my mother-in-law. The second and final part. I found them approaching my mother-in-law and cutting her clothes while she was screaming loudly, and no one could hear her voice of joy. I was shaking at the time. I didn't know what to do, knowing that they were going to rape her. The 6 men grabbed her, all like dogs, and started cutting her clothes, and they were concentrating with her. All of them, except for one who was concentrating with me and looking at every part of my body. In the middle of the darkness, I saw one of them with the corner of his dagger, which he was threatening us with, and merged in an attempt to rape my mother-in-law. The dagger was very close to me. I started pretending to have a center with me that I wanted it, and I was already sure that they would rape her and do the same thing to me. I found him starting to come close to me. I smiled at him until he stayed in front of me and a little far from them. With a shower of joy, I plunged the dagger into his heart with all my might. I thought he was going to scream, but he was completely silent, and he was staring at me in astonishment and fell. I'm supposed to be afraid of the sight, but I felt great joy and energy. I ran towards my mother-in-law, screaming, and hit 2 very quickly with the same dagger. The situation is the opposite. They all left my mother-in-law and looked at me in astonishment, and 3 of them were lying on the ground, and the other 3 were stunned and looked at me while I was pointing the dagger at them and telling them what would come close would happen to them. My mother-in-law quickly got her clothes and got dressed, and she was very shivering and came after me. And we started moving Laura until we got close to Joy. I noticed that they withdrew away from their dead friends, as if they were afraid of me. I took my mother-in-law and found a tuk-tuk near the Joy. I took it and we ran away from the place quickly. Until our soul. The second day we found out that they had found 3 people killed, and they did not know who killed them. Since then, sometimes I feel guilty that I killed 3 lives, and I feel joy that I saved my mother-in-law before they finished raping her, and I feel a terrible pleasure when I imagine that I am killing. Since that day, my mother-in-law and I have not had any joy, and I felt that I wanted to experience the pleasure of killing again. I still felt that I wanted to experience the thrill of revenge and killing. I always feel that I want to lure any imperfect man, feed him in my body, enjoy killing him, and experience the thrill of revenge again. This was my story. I don't know what I did right or wrong. But seriously, I want to try killing again. I hope you tell me what you think.